Thank you very much, Senator McBroom. My name is Phil O'Halloran, and I'm a registered voter in Michigan, where I've lived since 1986. My comments are based on sworn affidavits of myself and others in a group I organized, and I'm speaking under oath. I've been a GOP challenger on many occasions dating back to the mid-1990s. I was at the TCF Center on the general election 2018 and also the August 2020 primary. I saw that ballot security was a serious problem, and chain of custody of the ballots arriving at the TCF Center was virtually non-existent. So in October, I organized a group of volunteers to observe ballot movements from the Department of Elections on West Grand Boulevard to the TCF Center. The following are some of the things our group discovered. While ballots are generally transported by two people, on more than one occasion there was just a single transporter. At the departure point, which was the Department of Elections, the loading of the vehicles was rarely, if ever, supervised by election officials. We saw no transfer paperwork, no people with clipboards logging the departure and arrival times, no logging of the type or number of ballots on departure, or any logging of the type or number of ballots on arrival at the TCF Center. In the Challenger Conference the week before, which someone had earlier mentioned, Director of Elections George Jesus admitted that they do not transport ballots with a chain of custody. Also, I should point out that Challenger Conference was, the only reason I knew about it was I had met with George Jesus before and he invited me. Other people, other activists for the GOP did not know anything about it that I knew of. One man was even photographed carrying 100 blank ballots under his arm in the alley behind the Department of Elections. The ballots were in no container whatsoever, which is required by law. The man said he had been doing this all week long. The ballot transporters are mostly temporary employees hired for the election, and when I asked election officials if the transporters underwent background checks, we were told at the conference that the workers underwent a human resources process, but they would not confirm that any background checks occurred. And these are transporters who often carry thousands of ballots. The transporters frequently arrived at the TCF in an assortment of cars and vans, many with out-of-state plates, and they did not appear to be rentals. On the afternoon of November 4th, I observed a Penske truck that was parked outside the Department of Elections that appeared to be guarded by two men in a city of Detroit pickup parked behind it. They told me that the truck was empty, but when we returned about 4 hours later after dark around 9:30, the two men were still behind the Penske truck. Later at around 10 p.m., after being barred entry to the TCF Center, I returned and saw the truck leaving the DOE and followed it to the TCF Center, where it disappeared inside the rear service entrance. I then encountered a SWAT team blocking my entrance to the county board, and informed the sergeant that if the truck I described was delivering ballots to be counted this late after the close of polls, 26 hours later, that it would be a crime. He said he would not search the truck that night, but would report the incident to DPD. I do not know the result of that investigation or if one took place. I conclude that the lack of a chain of custody and the transport of thousands of absent voter ballots over several days is a serious threat to election integrity, and it makes it impossible to guarantee the results of the election.